Okay, welcome everyone to the third night of Specter of Torment races. Tonight we have the two racers, David, TKI, and Amps. Both really good race runners of this game. Bound to be a good race. So, I don't know when they're allowed to go. Maybe. I don't actually know when they're supposed to go. They might have their own little countdown. Okay, so there's a little bit of a stream delay difference. So don't worry about that. Okay, so as you've probably seen, Specter Knight has some interesting movesets. He can run up the walls. When he jumps, he breaks blocks. And when he attacks, he gets that little diagonal mark, allowing him to go up that direction and hit the enemy. Now, Plains is fairly simple. Go through, you collect some of the red skulls you need in the run. Right there, you saw him use the attack to go up to the enemy so he didn't have to jump on the wall again. That's really slow. And right there, you watched him jump up the wall instead of climb the ladder. That's a lot faster than just climbing the ladder, so you'll see that a couple times. So Black Knight, they're going to be going for a quick kill on Black Knight. He gets it, all at that. Okay, so what that quick kill is, you get Black Knight into that corner. He continues to move. You hit him when he's over by that big waterfall off to the right. If you hit him before he passes that waterfall, he'll go back to the right, and that sends him an infinite loop. Now, the hub in this game isn't much of a hub. You get the tower, which is where you can buy your items, your upgrades, and even the world map. So you get the mirror, you go to the different rooms. Well, the different stages, my bad. Right. Flying Machine is a second stage in the 90% run. The reason I go here is because they get a lot of money and easy red skulls. In that ladder, not the biggest thing in the world, but it happens. Right there, you saw him jump up instead of take the ladder. Faster. There, he skipped stuff. He skipped waiting for those green guys by doing an attack off the one that spawns just below. Now they're breaking the checkpoints, so that's an easy source of cash. And the money is used to upgrade, to get the rail mail, most importantly, and upgrade the bounding soul item that they grab. This mini boss is pretty simple. You hit him, then hit the bombs back at him, and continue to hit him. And he dies. Right here, you can skip that second blue jellyfish by doing that, as David just did. Alright, they're in the first auto scroller of the run. This one just a simple vertical trying to get the runs synced up with the timers and stuff. So don't worry about the pausing on Amps' side. Now, Spectre Knight, if you can, you want to do your attack in the air, but not have the diagonal mark come out, because while that is cool, if you bounce off of it, you might lose more time than what you're trying to save. Now this is the first example of a somewhat of a cycle, you could say. You can get to there with that blower up on top, pushing you really early. Biggest thing in the world to have to wait. But my triple jobber room. This one they don't break the checkpoint on because of this room is really annoying during runs. Or it can be. Basically, they can get in your way, they can stop you from advancing, you miss your jump, you're dead. On Propeller Knight, you want to stand still on the ground on this one, and you want to time your scythe attacks when he attacks you, so you use stability frames of your attack to hit him as much as possible. Both runners pulled off phase 1 perfectly. Phase 2, you're on these moving platforms. It's RNG on which one you get. And then either you can be right next to him, they could move all sorts of different ways. But both runners had a pretty good Propeller Knight. Runners are going to be getting Judgment Rush here. I'll let you see what that does here. But yeah, that's a really useful item. Now they're going to be getting the Rail Mail from this guy. You need a total of 8,200. I know you need at least, you need somewhere in the 8,000s to get it. Can't remember off the top of my head. Judgment Rush already put in work. They use it in places to save a little bit of running, because it's slow to run. Even with the Rail Mail, which lets them ride on their scythe, still take a little time to do it. Runners will grab their last 2 red skulls in this stage. The amps there. He did a second hit off that lantern, so we didn't have to climb the ladder as much. Judgment Rush putting in the work. I've seen the cycle on those pots. And the last red skull he needs right there. Both runners got it, and they're going to be heading through this screen into the one with the mini boss. So the mini boss in Explodatorium's pretty simple. You stay on the right of him and just mash the attack button. It works perfectly. You kill him before he can do anything in phase 2. Damage boost at the top of that ladder. Save just a little bit on the climbing. David jumping up the walls instead of using the ladder. That's a whole lot faster. It's doing it too. They do that jump there, they can get up there. And Judgment Rush right here up to the Exploding Wrath. And into Plague Knight. The Plague Knight can make clones of himself. 2, then he can make 3. Gotta find the real one, just keep smacking it until he's dead. Be a little tricky sometimes. Well, both runners had a pretty good Explodatorium. They're entering the first dream sequence. This gives you backstory on who Specter Knight is and how he came to be who he is. So there's a lot of money in this little section. You can use that if you're short on cash at some point. Now, the first dream sequence isn't the most entertaining. It's just a couple jumps and they're down. Both runners are going to be picking up the Bounding Soul now. Is another really important item. Lost City introduces these green jelly blocks and lanterns and a couple other things. Eventually you hit them, you get a little knockback, you jump on them, bounce. That's the thing that they do. We just did there, he bounced around in that little section. Same with amps. Kill all the slimes, get that red skull. Amps using the Judgment Rush there to skip some walking. Right. Like both runners are going to be going for the beetle skip, and both runners got the beetle skip. The beetle's very slow, and they don't want to go slow. See the green and the lanterns, they bounce in the opposite direction of where you're facing. So if you're facing left, you're gonna go left, you're gonna go right, vice versa. These exploding blocks can be a little tricky. Since you want to time your jump, make sure you don't explode them while you're on top of the lava, because that would be bad. Judgment Rush being used there so you can get back onto the wall and continue moving up. Both runners just did a trick there. Skip having bringing the green jelly over to the lantern. Right, both runners got Beetle Skip 2. Really nice to see. Through those screens pretty nicely, and they're both onto Mole Knight on a pretty good pace. You're going to see Bounding Soul be used here to damage Mole Knight as he's coming out of the wall. With Mole Knight, you want to do as much damage as you can before he goes in the ground. If you do it right, you can kill him before he goes in the ground. Both runners got that, so that's a really good Lost City for both of them as well. Now they're going to go upgrade their Bounding Soul, which you can do from this guy up here. Because he needs 7,000 gold. And that lets you shoot 4 at a time instead of 2, and they pierce through enemies. A little mini boss, you have to fight Reese. The Enchantress corrupts and turns into this guy. Teleports around, Bounding Soul being used to damage him, and you just... Sadly, the jump attacks aren't the most effective, so you want to use as many ground attacks as possible without dying yourself. David had a pretty good Reese. Amp's getting a little trolled by him, but it's no big deal. Now they're going into Iron Whale stage with one of the best soundtracks in the game, at least in my opinion. Whole stage is a good portion of it's underwater. There's that blue thing at the start. You can hit it, moves along the top of the water, so you can hit it. Amp's doing some pretty cool movement there. Amp's dying there. Thankfully, it's only not too far from the start, so it's no big deal. But seeing a death there really blows. Full movement again. Getting Judgment Rush just coming in handy all over the place. David is going to be going into the treasure chest fish guy. A really cool mini boss. You can use the rail mail to go over the spikes. It's interesting. Amp's having to use the Judgment Rush right there, so we didn't die again. The treasure fish can be pretty annoying. Thankfully, the tricky part is staying on the platforms. Getting up to them on your first couple playthroughs, because you just... Because the bubble blocks, they disappear real easily. Well, after like a second or so of you standing on them, disappear. Alright, David in the green fish room. This one's really not fun. Thankfully, no troubles from the fish. David. That fish will deal 2 damage to you if it hits you. So 2 hits from it and you are dead. Treasure Knight's pretty simple. He's Bounding Soul, and then you can just poke him since he stands in place most of the time. It's a walk in the park. Amp's having a little trouble. Thankfully, there are heals along this path. Alright, the fish is dead for Amps as well. And David leaving with a pretty good Iron Whale. Pick up the first Darkness upgrade. The runners will buy 2 of them each, because let's use more Judgment Rush / Bounding Soul. I want to see that. You only pick up 2 because the third one's unnecessary. They don't pick up any health upgrades either. They're on 4 health to run. That frog can get in the way, and it can kill you if you're not careful. Amp's also having a pretty good Iron Whale. Aside from that early death, it wasn't the worst thing ever. Still pretty good. This yard has these dark rooms where you can only see when the lightning strikes. But the runners know the layout of the room already. They don't need to wait for the lightning strike. Judgment Rush just continuing to put in the work, skipping all these screens. The other dark room in Lich Yard. Right at the end. Thankfully you can see those lanterns. So who is there instead of Specter Knight? Well, you get the Phantom Striker. A really cool boss. Am's getting a little stuck there on that guy. It could be a little annoying. Phantom Striker's gimmick, he goes around the map and does lightning. He can parry your bounding souls if you're not careful. Well, if you throw it right at him when he's not in an animation currently, he will parry them. Anyway, David having a pretty good Lich Yard. A good Phantom Striker fight as well. He's going to be entering Dream Sequence number 2, which is where you get Amps missing the platform, dying. Thankfully, he's right at the checkpoint, so it's no big deal. That's the peril with the dark room. Sometimes you think you're on the platform and you miss the platform. Heading in a Phantom Striker now. Second Dream Sequence, you get that little Shuriken item. That really helps with clearing the enemies out of your path and Shield Knight herself. Or himself, depending on how you play through Shovel Knight. Amp's not... He is using the Bounding Soul. It didn't look like he was. Alright, the Shield Knight fight, you don't want to hit her in the shield. Now the Shuriken thing, she will block, but sometimes she won't. They've had a pretty good Dream 2 there. Specter Knight betrayed his partner there, and it came back at him. Amp's entering Dream Sequence number 2. David heading into Clockwork Tower. You watched the race last night between David and Troy of Athens. You know that this was a bad place. Judgment Rush already being used all over the place just to skip long walking sections. Clockwork Tower is the longest stage in the game. Come something. David just barely making that. You can go fast enough, you can hit that platform coming down as soon as it goes down to jump off onto the wall. And with that, you can save a couple seconds. Now the runners opt to not go for the checkpoints at Clockwork Tower because they waste time. Amp's having a pretty good Shield Knight. Clockwork Tower has 2 auto-scrolling sections, one vertical, one horizontal, and they're both really slow. All I can say. End of this auto scroller, there is a block that moves out of the wall that can crush you, but you gotta be careful. That one. Right there. Those moving platforms can crush you. David picking up that checkpoint for safety. Because if you watched the run last night, they needed a safety checkpoint. Well, Troy did. He chose to not grab any checkpoints. Which is the fast thing to do, but not the smart thing to do in this case. Clockwork Tower also has some pretty good music in this. Alright, David on the second auto-scroller of Clockwork Tower. It just goes up. Also fairly long. Missiles coming out the side of the screen. If you get hit by that, you will probably fall down and die. So you want to try not to get hit by those as much as possible. Both runners in an auto-scroller. David's gonna pick up the turkey there. Smart choice. And just picking up the turkey there as well, because this is skip right there. You can get hit there, and it'll hurt. David had a good Tinker Knight phase 1. Tinker Knight in both phases is pretty simple. You hit him enough times when he's on his thing, and he dies. In phase 2, he flies back and forth. You damage him enough on one side, and he'll fly to the other. David having a pretty good Tinker Knight all around. A pretty good Clockwork Tower. Amps in the second auto-scroller, almost to the end. We're now entering the last little bit of this run. Going to pick up the final darkness upgrade. And head into Pridemore Keep. Oh wait, that guy's there. And he's gone. Amps and Tinker Knight. His goes. Pretty good phase 1. Wasn't the worst. And David flying through Pridemore Keep. Always does. Past couple races, he just flies through the stages. The good thing, he's going fast. The runners could use a damage boost there to get hit by the lava, so they don't have to wait for it to end. They can just go through. Judgment Rush there on the very edge of the screen. Hit that knight. Judge. Again, I'm gonna climb up the wall instead of take the ladder faster. Color at room, pretty basic. Judgment Rush skips that big section. Winner's having a pretty good Pridemore Keep. But entering King Knight. Or Queen Knight, depending on which shovel knight you went through. Now he can open up those holes there. Ground. If King Knight falls into them, then they will grab onto a propeller thing, and they will fly back up. If you fall in them, you're dead. So you don't want to do that. Third little dream sequence here, just get some more backstory. You skip that. That item in that dish can be an apple or a bomb. Amps happen to hit the bomb. Stranded ship. These colored rails. Blue goes right, red goes left. You hit a switch to reverse the colors of them. And there's ice. Our Amp's having a pretty good Pridemore keep. How their King Knight goes. Knight jumps all around, so you want to really be careful. Falling into that pit, though, up in the sky now, and he's dead. That was a decent King Knight. He was not the worst, but it was still pretty good. It'll skip there so you don't have to ride the rails. That platform, it makes the wood appear and changes the color of the rails. With runners doing pretty good so far. Judgment Rush there to skip that screen because that's a long section in this stage. And you don't really want to go through it. These green rail drivers ride the rails. They can damage you, they can get in your way. They go the opposite way of the rail. That one right there can get you sometimes. Right at the end, that can get you if you're not paying attention. Polar Knight's another one of those guys who pretty much just stands still until you hit him once. He goes up, and then you can Bounding Soul follow him with a rail mail, and he's dead. David had a pretty good stranded ship. Amp's missing the rail skip there. But he got that one. That one pretty cool. David entering Tower of Fate. Judgment Rush just used all over the place at the start of this stage. Across a lot of long walking sections. Judgment Rush there to get to that guy immediately so you can get right to those floating blocks. Dark Griffin there. Nothing too special about that one. Because you can't... Since a lot of the mini bosses you hardly see, they either die so fast or they get skipped entirely. Where Amp's missing Polar Knight. He's at 1 health and he killed him on the top of the screen. David entering the fun checkpoint on this in Tower of Fate. One has this room and it has the room with the green fish again. Both rooms have caused deaths in the races over the past couple days. Mainly this one. So a couple of runners died there times on the very first day. fish to cross that gap is helpful. Both runners in Tower of Fate now. We're not too far apart. Definitely an interesting race. Just a couple little mistakes from David could turn the run in Amps' favor. By the way, Amps has another run later tonight, so we'll be seeing them race again. Right, you can get that ladder there before it completely comes into view. That way you can skip a little bit of it. Bit of the auto scroller, which helps because it's really slow. Having a pretty good auto scroller there. David knocked down Black Knight. Let's see. Turtle didn't get in the way too much. And if you just keep Black Knight there. The turtle getting in the way though. Hate to see it. Black Knight just barely not going back up into the air. Amps onto the fun part with the fish. Missing the rail. Rail mail. I don't know what he's getting through it. First try. That's not too bad. David entering the final stage. You get to fight Enchantress. Going to use a little trick. One. Get up into that corner. There, they can just spam attack and they will destroy the blocks. Sets him in a good spot to just go right in there, and let's see if he can get it. And he did. David skipped Heaven, go to the right, and then back to the left. There's multiple ways I've seen that done. That's a really cool way. Amps entering Black Knight too. Let's see if he can get the quick knockdown. Missed it, but he still got him knocked down. That's all that matters, because him being up there on that turtle is really annoying. David opting to not go for the quick kill on Enchantress. Respectable and safe. Those of you who don't know, you can kill Enchantress down under the floor there, but it's really hard and not worth it sometimes. Am's having a little trouble there on the end of Black Knight too, but he still killed him nonetheless. Right, David on a Nightmare Reese. This one's an RNG fest because the rails are random, and he lost a 39 to them last night. When he takes enough damage, he will go over to the right, and he will do... First he charges at you, then he puts fire on the track. David ending with a 39-35. That's a really good time. Amps going for the jump too. Getting the jump. You love to see that. Now he will be entering the Enchantress fight. Wonder if Amps will be opting to go for the quick kill on Enchantress or not. Be better to just play it safe. You never know. Like he is. Will he get it? He did not. Yeah, just barely too much health for him. It was a good attempt, though. Let's see if he'll be going for it again. Like he is going for it. He gets it. And he's entering the Nightmare Reese fight. See how this goes for Amps. Amps falling. Thankfully, you don't go back through Phase 1 Enchantress, you just start the Nightmare Reese fight over again. He did a couple of rage pauses there. Nightmare Reese going a little better for Amps this time. And he couldn't skip this part. Couldn't skip that little phase. With the 42-26 for Amps. Was it too bad of a run? Definitely a good race.
This is David.
Hello, David. Welcome.
Yeah, came in just to see Amps finish. 42 is a really good time. Like, especially since Amps has not played Spectre in a couple of years, de-rusted just for this tournament. That's a very good time.
Yes. If it's been a couple of years, that's an amazing time.
It's a fantastic time. You know, especially with race pressure, race nerves.
Yeah. Surprised you went for the Enchantress quick kill there.
I hesitated. I didn't feel my... Her health was low enough, but I wasn't feeling like my gameplay was on point at the time, so I didn't want to risk it.
Completely understandable. Playing safe is sometimes the best choice.
Playing safe got me deathless, my only deathless run of the tournament, so I think that's worth popping off about.
Yeah.
Deathless is hard.
Great.
I think we should be getting Amps here in just a moment.
Alright.
Yeah, I see him in the setup channel. Just a bit. Hey Amps, GG.
Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you great.
Just making sure.
So, I just wanted to say 42 is a really fantastic time next to this. It's really good time.
Yeah, and I think I lost like a minute in Tower 2, honestly.
Yeah, that's a great time.
Yeah, it was I hope I kept it close. That was the goal.
Yeah, I kind of had my best run of the tournament there. So
It seems like it. You got sub 40, dude.
Yeah, that's gonna put my average race time right at like 40 minutes on the dot.
Jeez, you're insane, dude. Ugh.
How are you feeling after that race, Amps?
Oh, good. That was my first tourney race.
Definitely
back.
good to hear.
Yeah, I haven't. Gee, what? When was the last Spectre tournament? Like 3 years ago?
It was about 2000. Was it 2017? I think it was.
I thought it was 18.
What year did Spectre come out?
17.
I think it was about half a year after it came out.
Oh wow. Okay. Still. Yeah. But yeah. And what? I've been de-rusting for like
Hey,
5 or 6 days now.
I will see you later, Amps, for your next race tonight.
Oh yeah, I gotta get ready for that.
You don't. Anything else? There's another race about to start
Yeah, I'm good.
for a different game.
So I do want to note one thing, which is that Amps and I do have a little bit of a history, I just want to mention that. Way back in 2017, when we first did a Spectre Night tournament, Amps was the very first person I ever raced ever on SpeedGaming for anything.
Yeah, we're even now, aren't we?
Nice.
Yeah, Amps won that first race.
Yeah.
I was a new Spectre player at the time.
I was running Skeletal Sentry. Oh my god. Wow. That's a while back.
Yeah, so I'm super stoked that I got to race you again.
Yeah, man, that was really fun. I hope it was close. I couldn't see, but I felt like a good race.
There's nothing else then. Pass it on to the next race.
Yeah, GG, David.
GG.